Good morning, everyone. I know that some of you have had PE, physical education, idrott. I'm not quite sure what you do now when you have PE, but I guess you do something. Hello, Amal, good morning. Let's see without my spectacles. Good morning, Ansara. Hello. Good morning. Take attendance. Good morning. Good morning, Bawa, Omar, Amani. Jasmine, good morning. Nice to see you all. This is the very last English class before your Easter holiday. I hope you got your codes to exam on your email. I will have a short introduction, then I will let you write, okay? Okay. Good morning, Amra. Sogol, good morning. Nice to see you. Yes, you can. Studietid. So in case you don't finish, you're welcome tomorrow. Yes. Did you see that I posted a link to the audiobook and to Animal Farm has been filmed, I think at least twice, but the very first film was made in 1954, and it's a cartoon about Animal Farm. So if you want, you could watch it. Good morning, Rosanna. So under today's class on It's Learning, you can find both the film and the audiobook, okay? But of course, the best thing is to have the physical version of the book. So, jolly good morning, everyone. I'm going to get started. The goal today is to finish your essay on Animal Farm. It's a discussion essay, which means that you discuss, you compare, you analyze. Okay, this thing could mean that. This is a typical trade-off, abuse of powers or something like that. Okay, so it's a discussion essay, 5 paragraphs. The instructions on the essay you always find under today's class. It's the PowerPoint that I've been showing, I think, 4 times. If you're interested in listening to my lecture again, I will do that after the kind of initial stage here. Otherwise, you just start writing on exam. You write on exam.net, and if you have written before, I should have sent you a code on your mail, so you just use that code and you start writing. If in case you don't finish, you could join my study till tomorrow at 12 to 2, sorry. And if you want to join my study time tomorrow, you need to email me before 12 o'clock, because then I send you a code, okay? And then I say that now, and I will say that at the end of the class. I wish you a nice Easter holiday, a mixture between relax and perhaps to catch up if you have things left behind. So on It's Learning, you also find this. This is the assessment sheet, the grading sheet for E, C, and A. Here you have title and introduction, and then you have the different levels. The plot summary, very important in the present tense, and use some literary words. And then you have analysis 1, analysis 2. You analyze 2 different things in the book. Could be a character, could be the commandments, could be communism as an ideology, could be relationship between Snowball and Napoleon. You decide. Then you have the conclusion. And I also assess, of course, language and grammar. Then I have exits from exam and urkund, because I check all the text through urkund. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat. All right. So if you want to start writing, you do that now. Enter exam with your code. If you want to listen once more to the introduction of the structure of the text, you can do that. This live stream will be on the entire class, so I will be here, even if you don't see my face. I will be here to answer questions all the time. Okay, and I wish you good luck. So I will change now this screen, and I will show the structure of the essay, if you're interested. Otherwise, just okay. So it's a discussion essay. I'll do this a little bit faster today. The title, you all have the same title, Animal Farm by George Orwell. So you don't have to think about the title, okay? Should be clear what this text is about. Should be divided into 5 paragraphs. You know that? In your first introduction, you tell the reader, what kind of book is it? It's a political book about communism. The genre, satire, allegory. Which historical context? When was this book written? Well, from 1917 to the Second World War. That's the period when this takes place. Did Orwell write other famous books? Yes, he did. Normally, it's written in the beginning of the book. There is a kind of preface or introduction where you can read about it. Okay? And finally, what will you discuss in this essay? Good morning, Ritvan. The 2 discussion parts, for instance, I intend to discuss Napoleon as a leader and the change of the 7 commandments, okay? The second paragraph is a plot summary. Now, you're going to tell the reader, me, you think, I haven't read the book, so you have to summarize the book from the beginning till the end, briefly, not more than 20 sentences, but you have to get all the essential parts. And right in the present tense. Only this paragraph in the present tense. So Napoleon takes over the farm. Napoleon and Snowball are the leaders, not were, but are. So this is only in the present tense. And try to use literary terms, because we're writing about a book, so then we have to use words that are connected to literature. So these words, of course, you can use also throughout all the text, but in the plot summary, you can say the protagonist is, the antagonist, the setting is, in the book, the setting is in England, but in real life, it's in the Soviet Union. You know, there are always two parallel kind of, stories. The climax of the story is when, and there are several turning points, I guess. Yes? So this is an example of the present tense. The old major gathers all animals on the manor farm for meeting in the barn. That was the second. Hey, hold on. The third paragraph, and this is, of course, the core of this text. When you analyze. Analyze means if you have a puzzle, the small parts that you bring to the story, it could be underlying themes, could be, okay, this squealer who is responsible for propaganda, what are the underlying mechanisms? Why does he use propaganda? What is the goal of using propaganda, etc.? So try to put all the pieces together. You analyze. The small pieces bring together the big picture, okay? So in your analysis, you could either choose a quote from the book or two quotes. For instance, at the beginning, Napoleon was like this, and in the end, he was like that. And then you discuss that. Or you could describe something in the book. You could reflect on development of events. You know, things happen throughout the book. How do these things happen, and why do you think? You could compare to reality. That means that you could compare to communism. You could compare to other isms. You could compare to other dictators. For instance, other political leaders like Napoleon. Are there other political leaders in the world, or have there been other political leaders similar to him? Or to Hitler, because Hitler is also present in this book, The Neighboring Farm and Mr. Frederick. So try to compare to other realities and exemplify. If you quote, you always need to write the surname, Orwell, George Orwell, 1945, the year it was published, and the page number. So if you quote on page 54, you write 54. Okay. The next paragraph, the fourth, is exactly the same as the third. The only difference is that you analyze something else, not the same thing, of course. And I have also written, you could use an idiom. We'll be talking about pigs. This is a pigsty. We'll be talking about dogs in the doghouse. And we'll be talking about cats. Okay. And the same again, if you quote Orwell, 1945, and page number. And last but not least, your fifth paragraph, you kind of sum up your ideas, okay? And you try to interpret why on earth did George Orwell sit down in 1944 for 4 months and wrote this book of about 85 pages. What is the message, do you think? And this is Boxer, of course, with his mottos. I will work harder, Napoleon is always right. So to sum it all up, 5 paragraphs: introduction, plot summary in the present tense, analysis, conclusion. You're familiar with this form. You've done it before last year and year 1. It's just that the book is changing. Okay. Tip strip I will omit now because you have already watched this. Linking words, literary words, And when you think you are done, reread the text. Do I use uppercase letter? Is the spelling correct? Etc. etc. 600 to 1,000 words. All right. And you write on exams, so you can log on now. You may use, of course, your book and no formative assessment this time. If you have any questions, you can write either in the chat. I see that someone already wrote in the chat. Otherwise, you log on to exam. Okay? Good luck. I will change the picture now to the initial one, this one. All right. I will be here the entire class. Good luck. Okay, I can see that Sobol is in and Amani. The rest of you, do you have issues in getting in? You log on. Okay, Mohammed and Sarah, I can see you're in. Very good. Rosanna, good. I can see that you're in. Amal, okay. Amra, good morning. Okay. You have your codes on It's Learning. Oh, not on It's Learning, on your mail, sorry. Sorry. Gia, and I'm sorry, Amra, Jasmine, you're in, very good. Bawa, I can't see that you're in. Ritvan, I can't see that you're in. Okay, Bawa, I can see you're in. Very good. Sogol, I hope it's okay that I speak to you here. I see that you have finished. It looks very good. In your first analysis about the commandments, you could quote the page where you find the commandments. So I think it's page 14 and 15. You could add that after all the 7 quotes. You could add Orwell 1945, page 14 to 15, okay? And after that, I think you're done. Okay, I wish you a nice Easter holiday, Sobol, and I'll see you after Easter. Then we're going to work with this again. And where did I get the paper? And how to analyze short stories. So about reading comprehension. Very good. Thank you, Sogol. Okay. Some of you asked about the analysis. What is the analysis? Well, I could write on the whiteboard. For instance, how was Napoleon, can you see this, as a leader? How did Napoleon change? In the beginning, he was in a certain way, and in the end, he was in a completely different way. So, for instance, you could analyze Napoleon. How did he change? Could you compare Napoleon to other political leaders today, for instance, or in the past? How did his leadership affect the animals on the farm? So this could be an analysis that one analysis could be that you analyze Napoleon as a leader. Okay? So for instance, how was he as a leader? In the beginning, he was like this, but then a few things happened, and in the end, he was like that. Okay? How did it change? You know, you had these arguments with Snowball. Snowball was a different kind of leader. How would you describe, you know, their relationship, or how would you describe Napoleon? Could you compare Napoleon to other dictators? Dictators now in another country or in the past? Was he like Hitler or not? What were their similarities? What were their differences? And how did his leadership affect the people on the farm? For instance, when Boxer got ill, how did Napoleon react? This is quite important. Think about the coronavirus today. How does the Swedish government react? Do we believe in the people and respect the integrity of people, or do we want to punish, set rules, etc., etc.? These are different kind of leaderships. You have been studying psychology. You could, you know, put everything into the analysis. This is a few things that you can consider in one of the paragraphs. Okay, Ansara, okay? Yes. I will give you some questions that you could consider when you do an analysis, okay? So I have written a few questions that you could ask yourself when you analyze. For instance, if you analyze Napoleon, which in real life, of course, was Joseph Stalin, you could analyze how he was as a leader. Was he a democratic leader? Was he how was he to his citizens? What was his relationship to power? What was his relationship to Snowball, Leon Trotsky, etc.? And did it change throughout the book? At the beginning, they did revolution, a rebellion against Mr. Jones because they were discontent with the situation in the Soviet Union or on the farm. But then eventually things kind of changed. How? And how did he treat his citizens? For instance, when Boxer got injured, how did he treat the most hardworking citizen, Boxer, who represents the working class? You could give an example, or you could quote. How did his leadership affect the relationship with Snowball? What happened to Snowball? Could you compare Napoleon, Stalin, to other political leaders? What did Napoleon do if someone didn't obey? How did he treat his citizens? Could you compare to other leaders? For instance, in the book you have the neighboring farms, which represent Germany and England, America, the allies. Could you compare to other political leaders today, in the past? Okay. Why did he change the commandments? Why did he change the laws? What do you think was the purpose? This could be an analysis, for instance. Okay. Okay, I'm looking a little bit at your texts. Remember not to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just make paragraphs. So take away the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Rosanna, how it is going? How is it going? Gia, you can log on still, okay? You have the code on your mail. Okay, I get some questions in case you don't finish today. If you don't finish, you can attend my studio tea tomorrow between 12 and 2. And then you just email me just before noon, before 12, and I will send a code to you, okay? But try to write as much as you can today. This is an example of how you can analyze one paragraph. For instance, if you analyze a character, but you could also analyze something else. This is just a way to help you, okay? Now you have approximately 15 minutes. Okay. So continue writing in the chat, either here or on exam, if you need to ask anything. Do you want me to keep this or do you want the analysis thing? If you don't mind, just leave it blank. If you have any opinions, write it in the chat, please. I'm looking at your text. Bawa, good. Just take away the numbers, please. Amal. Mm. Amal, remember 5 paragraphs. And Amra, work a little bit more on your analysis. Haven't got much left, actually. GR, I can see that you're on your second analysis. Good. And Sarah, I can see that you're analyzing Napoleon. Very good. Omar, very good. You're approaching the end. Rosanna, let's see. Okay, 4 more minutes. All right, dear students, we are approaching the end of this class, or rather we are approaching the end of this process of Animal Farm. This was the last lesson out of 4 where you had the opportunity to write a discussion essay on Animal Farm. In case you didn't finish, tomorrow at 12 to 2. If you want to attend my study time, please email me on IsLearning just before the lesson starts and I will send you a code so you can finish writing, okay? Then after Easter, we're going to get back to the book and we'll do something different, okay? Have a nice Easter holiday, and if I don't see you tomorrow, goodbye.